Hey there, Magic the Gathering gamers. Have you ever cast this card before? No, wait, better question. Have you ever even heard of Stomping Slabs before? Perfect. That's what I'm here for, to educate the lowly prosper players about the finer things in Magic. Stomping Slabs is 2 in a red for a sorcery that says, reveal the top 7 cards of your library and put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order. If a card named Stomping Slabs is revealed this way, Stomping Slabs deals 7 damage to a creature or player. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with this type of card. It's the meme dream card. Indeed, a tasteful Hedron alignment, or biovisionary for me, good waiter. But why do I bring this particular one up? Well, I hope if you clicked on this video, you're familiar with the Dandan format, and if not, please pause and educate yourself using one of the many beautiful resources about the topic. Might I recommend this one? For no particular reason. Back? Good, let's begin. Now that we're all on the same page, I think we can all agree that we know where this is going. Dandan, but slabs. Slabdan, if you will. So, let's jump right into it. Your astute assumptions are correct. This is a shared deck and graveyard like any good Dandan, and the only way to win is to slab your opponent in the face 3 times. The idea for this deck came from someone in the community named Volvery, so give them all your thanks for what you're about to witness. And good luck, Chief, you'll need it. Because in this 100 card deck, there are, count them, 10 copies of the slab. And for those of you already busting out the hypergeometric calculator, you nerds, that gives you, in the best of circumstances, about a 50% chance of hitting. In most parts of the game, the odds are likely much lower. This is when you say, but Johnny, what if I miss? Good. That'll teach you to be more patient like your mom was always telling you. Your mom and I packed your bag with plenty of brainstorms and brainstorm substitutes. All you had to do was wait until you could use one of the 10 brainstones, or 2 brainstorms, or 2 brain surges to put an extra slab on top before casting the first one. So then you say, I have to find 2 slabs and a brainstorm first? That sounds like a lot of work for just a third of my opponent's life total. And look, I can't force you to have good work ethic, but given our situation in this deck list, it doesn't look like you're going to have a choice. So why don't you pick up those digging cards and get to work? You've got Sleight of Hand, Foresee, Peer Through Depths, Drawn from Dreams, Stock Up, and a couple more to help you find what you need. And if the deck is running low on slabs, you can always rely on Witness the Future and Cranial Archive to... Now what I need you to understand is, even if you do assemble all these pieces, you find 2 slabs, brainstorm 1 to the top, and then cast the other to guarantee a hit, your opponent also has access to all the same tools. So you know what that means, right? No, what? Slab brace. No, look, it means that they can also brainstorm or cast any instant speed dig or draw spell in response to your slab, which means they will yoink the slab you just put on top. So please pay attention. That's something your mom and I are always getting on to you about. Don't let it cost you the whole turn. And be on the lookout for like a psychic rebuttal. There are only 2 in the deck and it can only hit a couple of cards, but one of the cards it can hit is your slab. So don't embarrass yourself, okay? Did I just hear you say, how am I supposed to have fun? Fun? You wanted fun from the Magic the Gathering and obscure meme cards? Fine, fine. I'll throw in Throes of Chaos, Talon of the Telepath, Collected Conjuring, and, well, since I know it's your favorite, why not? Epic Experiment. That sound fun enough for you? If trying to play around your opponent's mind game sounds too taxing for you, just jam one of those spells and see what happens. You don't always need to have a brain to have fun. Oh, but do be careful out there. I don't want you to get all excited about an Epic Experiment for 10, only to get it miscast, okay? What's that? Not enough lands in the deck? No, you misunderstand. There are actually 40 lands in this deck, not 20. See the 10 Rush of Inspiration and 10 Solemnity Visions? Those are also your lands, and coincidentally, the Is It Boilerworks can bounce them back to your hand and make them spells again. Just be careful with the Rush of Inspiration because the discard part is at random. And last but not least, my child, those peculiar lighthouses will begin to come into play untapped the moment a single player gets hit with a slab, so don't forget that. Even if your opponent slabs first, your lighthouses will also be untapped. Alright, I've done all I can do to prepare you for the Slabdan world out there. I shall leave you with an educational walkthrough of a single match of Slabdan. Don't squander it. Here we have a match of me against my brother, where I open the game by knocking over the deck, establishing dominance. Then he proceeds to copy my first couple of turns in an attempt to flatter me with Tap Land, Brainstone, Is It Boilerworks, then leave up Brainstone activation. Well, I then cast Stock Up to gain a hand advantage on him and then pass the turn. I take another Is It Boilerworks and a Brainstone from it. In this format, it's important to have as many Brainstone effects as possible in order to control the top of the deck. It's important for both when you cast your own slabs, but also it's important for whenever your opponent attempts to cast theirs. Once it's his turn, my brother decides to ponder a bit, and then he casts Ponder, and decides to shuffle as none of the options he saw were worth it. He passes back to me, and what do I draw off the top of the deck? Well, it's none other than the slab itself. I play both the cards I got off my stock up and then pass. He also adds a 4th stone to the board and passes back. In his end step, I cast Slabdan Visions to get my 2nd slab. I am now prepared to do the thing the deck does, with 2 slabs in hand and a brainstorm effect available to me. I decide to cast a slab. You may have noticed that I didn't use a brainstone to put a slab back on top yet. This is because my opponent also has access to their own brainstones. So if I attempt to do that, he would just steal the slab that I just put on top. So instead, I make a wager. I wager, since it's early in the game, my odds of randomly hitting a slab are higher now than they will be later, and if I can get him to fire off a brainstone now, I can then follow up by putting a slab on top after with my brainstone. My brother realizes this and allows my slab to resolve. Unfortunately, I miss on my slab, which was certainly likely to happen, but not what I was hoping. Maybe a more patient player would have continued to wait, but I didn't want to move on without casting anything on this turn. In my end step, he casts Peer Through Depths and grabs his own slab from it, then proceeds to go to his turn. He casts a Witness the Future and returns the slab that I just cast from the graveyard to the library, then takes a card from the top floor and plays a Boiler Work. Unlike me, who was impatient, he chose not to blindly cast his slab yet. We spend a couple of turns digging for cards until my brother decides to tap down to only 1 mana on his turn. On my turn, I cast Frantic Search by tapping 2 Boiler Works and a Crackling Falls. Then I untap those 3 lands with 2 mana floating, thereby generating 2 additional mana for my next play, which is to cast Epic Experiment for 4 with 3 open mana. And you may be wondering why I didn't cast Epic Experiment for 7. Well, this 3 open mana does 2 major things for me. 1, it allows me to play around the card Miscast, but it also allows me to keep open my Brainstone for my brother's next turn so I can answer his slab. I dig pretty deep and sculpt my hand using the cards from the Epic Experiment and then pass. After a bit of thought, my brother casts his first slab, and just like my first one, he does his in the blind. We both have access to Brainstones to mess with the top of the deck, so he doesn't want to trigger that yet. And just like mine, his misses also. In Slabdan, it's very common for early slab casts to be in the dark like this, as you build up your resources and attempt to get a little bit lucky in order to unlock your lighthouses. Depending on what cards and options you have, it can be right to cast them, or it could be right to hold them. When he goes to pass the turn, I take the opportunity to put a slab on top of the deck, second from the top with my Brainstone. At this moment, he could have stolen this slab by activating one of his stones, but the key here is that I would not have cast my other slab and wasted it in my hand if he chose to do that now. Otherwise, he's now going to allow me to untap and have a lot more mana open when I do cast that slab, which is going to allow me a lot more options to counteract his counterplay. When I cast that other slab, however, my brother attempts to counter it using Psychic Rebuttal, which is going to give him a copy of my slab. And thus, my setup was now in his favor. So, I have to desperately cast a regular Brainstorm to grab back the slab that I just put on the top sheepishly. He proceeds to Brainstone in order to put his own slab on top, and then uses the copy he got from me to deal 7 damage to me. First blood is drawn, and the game unfolds from here, ending with a big bang on the final turn when I cast an Epic Experiment for 7, and well, I'll just let the rest play from here. Good play? Like, try to win?
Definitely don't do that.
Fuck that.
Fuck
1,
that
2,
shit.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dude, no. Whatever I'm doing anyway.
I don't have it.
Cool. For 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Oh, come on, damn it! Come on!
Alright.
Just come on!
Let's do this.
I'm so dead. Holy
So
shit!
dead. Those 2.
Oh,
These.
I'm so dead.
This.
No. You definitely want this after this.
What?
After
This-
speculation. Yeah, like that.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
I think.
No, I think speculation before telling time. So I can put all 3 cards on the bottom and then telling time to get 3 deeper.
But you don't need to get deeper. You just need to put a slabs in top.
You're wrong. Okay, so Rush of Inspiration. Let's draw 2.
Okay.
Discard 2 random. That's the worst part about this. What am I throwing away?
The slabs.
Return.
That's a good card to get rid of.
Draw 2. Discard. Random.
All right, now the slabs.
Oh no, there's a slab in here now. Okay. Draw 2. Discard 2.
But you choose, and you're gonna choose slabs.
I think this card doesn't work very well either. It's okay. It just costs a lot of mana. And a land, which are like... Lands are so precious.
Bottom.
Oh, he was right? That's garbage.
Playing time. 1, 2, 3. Top.
Okay.
Hand. Bottom.
Resolve talent. I think?
Slab.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7. Cool, two
Choose
slabs.
2 slabs.
Okay, slab.
Okay, wait. I have mana, Johnny.
Yeah.
You haven't put anything on top of the library. How many slabs are in here?
I don't know. I've got one in my hand.
It's just
Sorry.
a book
I've got 2 in my. Sorry, I've got 3 in my hand. So I could win.
So you're gonna whiff, right? Alright. I am gonna crack my stone.
Sounds good. Did you draw? Dude, if you draw slabs off that, you can. You could maybe counter this. I don't know. It sees the rest of the deck, and I only need to hit 1.
It does not see the rest of the deck.
There's 14 cards.
There's
here.
more than 14 cards there, I
I
agree.
don't think so.
Also, it will see the rest of the deck, as in, like, you've seen this part of the deck.
Fair enough.
I'm putting back
There's a lot of slabs. These slabs down here.
these 2 cards.
1, 2, 3.
So these are the ones that I put back.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7. See, 1 slab down. Come on, it's over.
It's
1,
gotta be over. There's no way.
2,
Oh my gosh.
4, 5.
Oh!
You did it. 2 slabs at the
2
end.
slabs at the end.
Just
That was
on
fun.
my hand.
That was fun. This is a good format.
This is a very good format.
Alright, and that was the Dan-Dan-like format known as Slabdan. I hope it inspired you to make a slab-based deck of your own. If you have your own unique Dan-Dan variant that you want featured on this channel, please comment it below or join our Discord and post in the MTG channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more wacky ways to play Magic, and in the meantime, peace.